So, hello everyone. Welcome again to the Urban Chicken Man, who's doing a video today on how to fertilize your blueberries, or really how to fertilize plants in general. Fertilization, proper fertilization, is a lot of math. So I'm going to kind of show you the basics first of how to figure out how much you want to put based on what you're going to be using. Now, the first thing I did is I measured my blueberries and saw how many linear feet of blueberries do I have, which is about 26 feet. So we're going to make the math easy and say 25. So I'm doing two sides of the blueberry bushes. So to me, as far as I'm concerned, we're going to do 50 linear feet of preparation of the soil and fertilization. So one of the things I need to do for my blueberry bushes, and again, this can be for any plant. This is the calculations of how it works. We're going to be using aluminum sulfate for changing the pH from 6.5 to about 5.5, which is right where the blueberries kind of like them, 5 to 5.5. They like acidic soil. So aluminum sulfate. And if you wanted to replace your dirt, you can look for any dirt that works for azaleas, camellias, rhododendrons, because they all like acidic soil too. So what works for them will work for the blueberries. So we're going to use superphosphate, which is a very high phosphate concentration here. And we're going to use muriate of potash, which is an enormously high concentration of potash. The higher these numbers get, the more concentrated it is of that particular element, but also the more careful you have to be that you don't destroy the plant and basically chemical burn them from putting too much fertilizer on there. You can kill your plants with too much fertilizer. So let's just talk very simply about how to do the math. We're doing 50 linear feet. Now that's important because the 50 linear feet, most of these bags will tell you how much to use in 100 linear feet. So of course you take that 100 linear feet, like here, okay? So on the back of this aluminum sulfate, now there's going to be links for these in the description of the video, but I'm not sponsored by these guys. I just use them because I've used them a long time. So on the back, it tells you, first of all, how many cups is approximately 1 pound. So 2 cups of aluminum sulfate is roughly 1 pound. You're going to use, let's see here, down here at the bottom it says how many linear feet it is. Sorry. To help correct alkaline soil, use 5 pounds per 100 square feet. This is a 4-pound bag. So 4/5, that's 5-pound measurement, means this will cover 80 linear feet. So I need to use 5/8. I'm using 50 linear feet of this material. Okay, so I use 5/8 of 4 pounds and then divide that by 50, and I come up with about 1.3 ounces of product based on weight per linear foot of blueberry bush. And I can help you with those measurements. Scan the QR code, ask me on Facebook, it's fine, I'll help you with the measurements. But you get the idea here. So you start with 100 linear feet, then you figure out from there how much you need per linear foot that you're going to be working with. Because as I'll show you here in a minute, we're going to be going outside and digging up about 2 linear feet at a time, mixing it with peat moss, mixing it with our ingredients here, our fertilizers, and then from there, putting the soil back in, and then moving to the next 2 feet, next 2 feet, next 2 feet. So that's kind of how this process, I hope, will be working, but the best laid plan of mice and men. Now, one thing on here, if you get into a high concentration here, the reason I have the sprayer out, okay, is that we are not going to be putting the potash directly into the soil, because according to the calculations, we're only supposed to use a 1/4 cup of potash, of this particular concentration of potash, for an entire 50 feet. Well, it's very difficult for me to figure out how to put 1/4 of a cup across 50 feet and spread it evenly. So what I've decided to do is put my 1/4 cup of potash inside a sprayer like this and liquefy it. So now I'm going to have 1 gallon that will spread across 50 feet, and I can slowly kind of watch and see how much I'm using. I will simply spray the soil, which you'll see outside in a second. I'll spray the soil with the potash, that'll put the potash in there, and then just make sure I keep it mixed up and then work my way down the 50 feet. What's nice about this is that I can use this process to also fertilize my garden, considering this is such a high concentration of potash. Putting it around pretty much any plant, save a tree, if you put it in the wrong concentration, which is easy to do, is going to kill the plant. It's just going to chemical burn it away. So, get out of here, Shelly. I'm trying to take a video. Stop blowing your nose in the back of my video. We all heard it. So anyway, these are for my particular situation because I'm low on phosphate and I'm low on potash and I have a base pH instead of an acidic pH. These are my calculations. These are what we're going to be working with today. You'll notice I did change it to a half a cup on the potash. Well, that's because I'm going to use some of this, and I'm going to put a little more in a gallon in there. Because I'm going to use some of this in my garden when we're done. But anyway, so you get the idea how to do the calculations. It's a lot of math to make sure that you get the fertilizer done right. But if you just start with 100 linear feet, then how many feet am I going to actually use? Then what does the bag say? For 100, break it down to whatever you're going to use. From there, you should be okay. Anyway, so I'm going to mix this up, and then we'll head outside here, and I'll kind of show you the process for how we're going to get these blueberries back on track. Okay, so now that we've shown you kind of how to measure the fertilizer out and all that, and we've heard Shelly blow her nose 3 or 4 times. What we need to do here is simple. We pull our mulch back, okay? Get back to the dirt. Make sure the root line for the blueberry bush is going to be roughly as far out as the leaves, okay? So you're going to dig down here a bit around the edge of the root line, take the dirt out, mix it into the wheelbarrow. We're going to mix it with some peat moss, the fertilizer that I told you about based on how many ounces, how many feet we take out. Okay, mix that in, and we're going to pack it all back in around the blueberry bush so it's got something nice to grow into. That should fix a lot of our problems that we're having with these bushes right now. Plus, while we're at it, we'll be looking for air pockets like we found in one of the other videos when we were doing soil testing. So anyway, again, if you have questions, I wanted to keep this video kind of short and sweet. There's no need to do a time lapse with all this work. It's simply take it out, mix it, put it back in. That's about it. You are, because of the peat moss, if you put it in there, going to have some extra leftover dirt. We're just going to toss it in the chicken coop before we put the fertilizer in. That's the ticket. But anyway, so we'll pull these out, we'll get it done, and like normal, like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, you can scan the QR code in the bottom right-hand corner, ask me a question on Facebook, okay?